This episode of the National Squash League podcast is brought to you by Dakota. Like the National Squash League, Dakota moves fast. Built in Philadelphia, driven by precision, and focused on performance at the highest level. Dakota is a financial, software, data, and media company powering the global investment ecosystem. Their flagship platform, Dakota Marketplace, helps teams raise capital, source deals, track peers, and access comprehensive data all in one place. Just as the NSL connects elite players, teams, and fans to grow the game, Dakota connects the people and information that move markets forward. Since 2006, Dakota's mission has been simple: help others get what they want out of life. And they're changing the game by putting service first. Learn more at dakota.com. On today's National Squash League podcast, I am joined by new co-host, co-founder of the NSL, Timmy Brownell of the Newport Dragons, who was at Cleveland this weekend to witness both final regular season matches to round out our playoff picture. So we break down both of those pictures together, playoff pictures, break down both matches, and then a little bit of banter as we discuss who will be winning in June in South Norwalk at M Squash. Lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's go. Welcome to the National Squash League podcast presented by Dakota, changing the way capital has been raised since 2006. Today is May 19th, 2026, and I have a new co-host today sitting with me. He is Timmy Brownell, world number 28, member of, what's your team again?
Dragons, put some respect on our name.
Well, okay, I've heard about them. Newport Dragons, fresh off a win. Timmy's also fresh off of World Champs. Timmy's fresh off of a lot of different tournaments, but we're lucky to have him in the studio today. Timmy, what's your first impression of the Dakota studio first?
Thank you for gracing me with your presence, BG. Honestly, what an amazing place. This is the big time. Feels like, we're going on first take right now. So I'm excited. We're going to get some banter going. We're going to talk squash. Yeah. And BG's got some answering to do. So we got some questions for BG. So stay tuned for this pod.
Okay, well, that's fine. Let's tell the audience, Timmy. First, I think that people need to know there's a lot of similarities actually between us that people don't know about. First off, your dad and my dad went to the same high school.
Yes.
Phillips Exeter. It's a fact. A Harvard grad. How many times were you national champion at Harvard?
Twice.
I was a two-time national champion at Penn.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No.
It's mixed national doubles. Doubles. If you're not gonna respect, put some respect.
Who's your partner?
The first year it was Annika Alankamoni, and the second year was Jess Davis. I actually carried Jess Davis. She carried me, and now she's top 10, top 12. But her first tournament, her first taste of victory was with me. So any victory she has is a victory of mine. It's like Penn Squash now. Any national championship they have is a national championship of mine. So I guess I'm a 4-time national champion. I don't know. Math's hard. There's a lot of rings.
There's some big numbers being thrown out right here, BG.
But the most important one, the last thing we have in common, in the last week, you and I have both played in an NSL match.
The Masters.
The NSL Masters. People forget.
I actually love the banter there. I think we should get that live streaming. I really think we'd get it on the NSL page and it would do numbers. Just for Brodo. I would tune in just to see Jim Brodo.
So for those that don't know, NSL Masters, it started in Philly. Jim Brodo, who's a squash enthusiast through and through. I actually trained with him when I was a junior growing up at the Fairmount Athletic Club. Rest in peace. Love to Fairmount. And
RP Fairmount.
And he started, and I would say, obviously, it's it's kind of like, it's not the same as the NSL now, but you have older people like 50 plus, and then there's me, 30 plus. And it was competitive. We did, I will say, not to toot my own horn, we won 4-0. You only won 3-1. We'll get to your match later. I was a plus 19, no big deal.
They got the stats and everything.
Timmy, you were a -1.
-1. Well, I also got power played like 8 times.
You did get power played a couple times.
Did you get power played or no?
I got power played once, but I think I did have one power play myself. So you had no.
The numbers are misleading. The numbers are misleading.
Timmy, that's why you're the first person to call me out on that, because I usually. That's the great thing about numbers. You can manipulate them however you want. I'm a 2-time national champion. Are you kidding me? That makes perfect sense. Never mind.
That's why I'm still waiting for, I think, the most powerful stats that we haven't had access to yet that I think we're going to next year is points per minute. And points per minute on power play, points per minute against. Yeah. See what I'm saying? Points per minute against, points per minute on power play against. So you can actually tell per time who are the best attackers, who are the best defenders, who are the best engine players.
Points per minute without power play.
Exactly. Because you literally have neutral play, you have on power play, you have defending power play, and you can truly see who are the best players in the league per time.
Right.
So I kind of love that.
All right. Well, again, we're going to workshop that with Spencer.
Neutral right now, Tina Gillis by a mile.
Plus
70.
I guess Amanda Sobey, she did some damage.
Sobey as well.
But anyway.
That was circumstance, though. That was stat boosting.
Yeah, that was a little
asterisk on that one.
that was strategy. Yeah. The massacre in DC, as I like to call it. But anyway, it's great to have you, and it's good that you're here because you were just in Cleveland this weekend for both matches. So you're the perfect person to have on the podcast. Normally, I say to Spencer right now, State of the Union. I will take that. You are the co-founder, so correct me if I'm wrong anywhere. But right now, the regular season's officially done. We have our 8 playoff teams. NSL Finals, June 10th to 12th. The schedule has been released internally. I'm not sure if I'm going to release it externally, but it's pretty obvious who the matchups are. We'll talk about that at the end of the episode. But right now, for those listening, get your tickets. It's going to be at M Squash in South Norwalk, Connecticut, which actually isn't that far from New York, which I didn't know. It's like, if you're in the Brooklyn, New York City area, it's kind of a quick train. There's a bunch of good hotels in the area, but obviously if you're in the area, in the Connecticut area, Greenwich, Darien, come check it out. It's going to be wild, I think. Women's is, I think, going to be pretty close. As most of you know, I have a bet on the Sono Sharks. If they win, I have to wear shark fins for every episode next year. And then, maybe by the end of this episode, Timmy, we'll think of something for the Newport Dragons. I'm not worried. I'm willing to stake my claim that Newport, you guys will lose to Chicago. That's who you're playing first round. And if you do somehow make it past them, you're going to run into a juggernaut, either Philly or Greenwich, most likely Philly. Maybe we can think about that as the episode goes on.
See, I think we just need to call attention to this. That one, that's an outlandish take, but two, BG's in some real trouble here, folks, because I think the Sono Sharks actually have a decent chance to win the title, even though I don't believe that they're the favorites. Mm-hmm. And then two, I think just given how your preseason predictions have gone, the Newport Dragons, I think, are actually shaping up to be a contender here. And so for you to say confidently that we're going to go down to Chicago, I think we need to address this right now because I think we got to talk rosters here. Because
we don't know rosters yet.
Rumblings on the street are that Chicago is going to have their best player, Kareem Abdul-Gawad.
Have you played him recently?
I have played him recently.
How'd it go?
It was actually very tight. So I think
3-3.
It was 3-1. No, it was 3-1. 3-1.
Okay, you didn't get a game.
First game was a tiebreaker, so I could have been up 2-1. I think that their roster is likely going to be Kareem Abdul-Gawad. I've heard rumblings that it'll be Sam Todd, who's actually maybe even an upgrade over Mazin Hisham in the NSL format. So I don't like that. But then the third player, it sounds like might be the notorious, the Conor McGregor of the NSL, Simon Herbert.
Your former teammate.
My former teammate. So I think with that roster, it's going to be fireworks. But I think that we're actually going to be slight favorites on paper. Just given how the rosters are constructed. Obviously things could play out differently. But I'm looking forward to that match. And I think that for you to say that we're going to go down against them is just a crazy take and discredits you for the rest of the podcast.
Well, all right. We're gonna do a quick playoff breakdown because we have another episode June 8th that we're excited about, and we'll see. Maybe we'll bring you back on
when rosters are firmed up. We'll get a full rundown, but it seems like the rumblings are that it'll be Gawad, Todd, and Herbert.
And I think I shared this with you off the episode, but the fun fact of the NSL: every team that has beaten Simon Herbert in NSL history has gone on to win the title. With the New York Knights the first year in the final because they were undefeated before that, and the Philadelphia Lightning last year, Simon Herbert has won every other match except against those two teams. So if you are lucky to advance, maybe that doesn't bode well for Greenwich or Philly, but history's meant to be broken too. So undefeated records, that's hard to break.
I will say, this might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but
we're already too deep.
If we get to the finals, I would prefer to play against Philadelphia, just to have a new matchup. So even though I don't want to root for you guys against Greenwich, to have a new matchup there, I think for the finals, given all the banter that's happened preseason, it would just be box office. So I would love to see it. I hope it happens, but we're going to have a lot of work to do before then, honestly.
Spencer and I talked about that. Like it's like we wrote it. It's like it's scripted. I always joke it's always scripted, but also last year Newport versus Philly was also, I think, the best matchup in the playoffs last year.
That was a ripper.
Yeah. So it would be fun. There's history. I'm a fan. I'm a sucker. I love it all. Obviously, want Philly to win. We'll do a little quick playoff recap later, but let's go back to the weekend. Let's go to Cleveland. We're going to start chronologically with Sono Sharks versus Lake Erie Beacons. This one, going into it, was a little interesting only because Lake Erie was missing their number one player, Gina Kennedy, and also it was just a little awkward that Sono pretty much only needed one period to win the division and be the 1 seed. So it almost was like the air was out of the sails a little bit to begin, but Lake Erie won the first period, and they ended up being Sono 3-1. But it was one of those situations where I thought Lake Erie was going to pull it out. They had the pieces, and then steam ran out a little bit at the end.
Well, I think even though after losing a period, I believe the playoff discussion was over, you still are pushing really hard to win at home because of the energy in the building, and the players are going to be fighting really hard.
Totally.
The real question was, did they have enough ammunition on the roster to win? And I think
Lake Erie.
Yeah, Lake Erie. Because Sono obviously had a very strong lineup from top to bottom with Salma, Marina, and Tori Malik, who has a the third player is very attacking. And to have your weakest player on paper be your power play specialist is a huge advantage because it means that the other players can eat lots of minutes and be strong. And then also, quick shout out to Salma Haney for getting on a flight right after making the quarterfinals of the Worlds. So you could say that maybe they're a bit hungrier because she reached the same round as Gina Kennedy and made the match.
I was shocked. It was very impressive, Salma. And I don't
amazing
know her,
hustle.
I don't know her well enough, but it did speak volumes to me.
And she played hard.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed, honestly, with all the players. Like they were, going all out, right? And like an hour before the match, you've got Amina Al-Riani on the bike, sweating, soloing, and we were like, "Holy smokes, this is going to be a real a ripper," and it was.
Yeah. I mean, again, to your point, Sono as a roster, they have Tori Malik, world number 37, Marina Stefanoni, world number 15, Salma Haney, world number 14. They're one of 2 teams in all of the NSL that have 2 top players ranked inside the top 15. Do you know the other one?
DC with it depends on current rankings, I guess. Yeah. Jazz Hutton, Sobi, Rowan El Arabi is a top 9, 8 player, but I guess current ranking doesn't count.
There's only one other team
with 2 top 15s.
Yeah.
Or are you fudging Abulgar's ranking?
No, he's actually ranked number 13 as of
is he
today.
Really? Is he really right now?
Just saying, that's Philadelphia.
Hear me out. Abulgar is a flimsier 13 than El Arabi is a top 8.
Wow.
In current form. So I would say that's an asterisk there.
I'm not stirring the pot right now between Newport and Philly. This is all you.
DC roster on paper, I would say, is much more of a top 15-esque.
You might be right.
Than
honestly.
Philly.
I haven't checked it, but Abulgar is as of.
Wow, I saw good for Abulgar. I didn't know, but he's honestly been playing amazing.
Yeah. He always runs into Yusuf in every tournament.
And they just play humdingers.
Yeah.
It's fun. Behind the scenes fact there, I was talking to, I believe Inyao. I think Inyao played him at the Worlds. I could be wrong.
Inyao played in Worlds, and the round before Yusuf.
Because Inyao told me, I think on a bus when he had just lost, and he was like, I've played all of them. And he's like, and Abulgar today is as good as anybody.
Oh.
And I agree with him where on his best days, he is like one of those all-timers.
Right.
Where nothing's missing.
Right.
And he takes on shots that most people don't take on. So, that's an outsized player that maybe Philly might be missing him in the playoffs. We might see what's going to happen there, but what a player.
It's one of the, that's so, and again, we'll see if Mo will come. So we'll just say that. We're hopeful that he's here for the playoffs, but he's got some stuff going on, which is all good. All is good with him, but it's all fun stuff. I think he'll be at the British.
Yep.
So that's good. Anyway, into the match now. Like I said, the first period went to Lake Erie Beacons 37-30. The key moment and my takeaway from this period, and you were in the booth commentating, so you kind of got to see this, which was great, was I felt like Holly Naughton and Lucy Beecroft, both of them, were just having so much fun. And there's a part of this obviously very competitive, but both of them were hitting nicks left and right. It was out of sight, out of mind. I couldn't believe Beecroft. And Beecroft, when she plays in the PSA, she has a very steady game. I don't think she's as willing to take those risks. But man, her cross-court, she fired in 3 straight nicks that just blew up the lead. And then she had a power play, and she went from 1-point deficit to 7-point lead, 2.5 minutes. That's the beauty of the NSL. That's what was my key moment of the first period.
Yeah, I think not to discredit Amina El-Riani, but I think that Holly and Beecroft were both dual MVPs.
Yeah.
And just to play from the beginning, you had Holly versus Salma, and Holly I think put in like a 12-minute shift.
Yeah.
Where she played, I think she finished 15-15 after defending a power play.
Yep.
Which is just absurd if you think about the matchup on paper. For her to be able to elevate that way and play so well. I immediately was like, wow, I feel like the momentum's shifting that way for her to put in that kind of showing.
Right. And then Tori, like you said, Tori called a power play against Holly, and it was 4 points, but the rest of the other power plays, Tori had 5. And I just really thought she hung on well and gave them a chance and let Lucy do her thing at the end.
Exactly. So I think the play was that Beecroft came on.
Yeah.
And I think that they were either down or even, but she ended up going +7 after her power play against Stefanoni, who's a great mover.
Yeah.
So for her to put up that kind of showing, the whole building was jumping, and they could feel that the momentum was turning. Marina did not have enough time to come back, and they iced the first period, and I'm like, oh my God, we got a match in our hands.
Yeah, and it was 13-8 between Beecroft and Stefanoni, and that's important for what happens later in the third period, which we'll get to. So now let's go to the second period. Second period is when Sono really ran away with it and took it 41-25, clinched the division.
Huge asterisks here. I want to just call out the Beacons coaching staff here real quick, because there's a big thing that's been added this year, which is timeouts.
Yeah.
And we've seen the more tools we give coaches, the more ways there are for them to mess up.
Yep.
And good coaches can separate from bad coaches.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that Beacons had bad coaching on the day.
Yeah.
But this was a clear error in the second period when Holly went out, and she wasn't playing poorly, but she was getting cooked.
Yep.
Right. She happened to be on a huge
11-3 in 3.5 minutes.
Huge run against, right? So here's the thing: 3.5 minutes, 11-3 down, takes the wins out of your sails for the entire period.
Right.
Why not have? This is what it was designed for.
Yep.
She's 6-3, 7-3 down. Yep. Timeout.
Right.
Stop the momentum. Give her 60 seconds to come off, or have a sub or something. But they just let her stand out there like an island.
Yeah.
And they let the period get out of hand. And when the season was on the line, that to me was unacceptable.
Right.
And it's a coaching error that just can't stand. We can't have that.
Now, Timmy, I'm glad you bring that point up because I have something to ask you. Again, you're a co-founder of this league. You're pretty high up, and you're commentating. What did you do when you were frustrated and saw them not calling the timeout?
Well, I did a few things, honestly. I literally, there were a few times where I took my headset off and I leaned over and I was motioning for the timeout.
Collusion! Collusion!
This is almost, it shows you how little clout I have because they were like, no, absolutely not. We're not calling timeout.
Yeah.
But it ended up costing the period. And I just wanted to see a close period there, I think. And that was a clear decision that I think was missed, and that I think neither team used a timeout for the entirety of the match, which to me is just crazy.
It may have at the end, but
it's so important. And you saw like in the men's match next day, I think all 4 timeouts were used, and they define the match. When a player is having a dip and they get pounced on in NSL, the tide shifts so quickly.
Yeah.
So for the Beacons there with the season on the line to not protect one of their best players, that just was hurtful for me to watch. She's just stranded out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was between the Stefanoni shift, as I like to call it. I think she was 15-7, or no, she was 16-6 by the time she was done. And then shout out to Salma Haney too. She did a great job holding Lucy Beecroft 2 points on the power play. It was just impossible. It's
just over. It's too much to overcome. So it put the period out of reach within the first 4 or 5 minutes. And that, as a co-founder, someone who loves to enjoy the product, you don't want to see dead time because it's so rare in the NSL for there to be real dead minutes. It's usually, if anything, it'll be the last 2 to 3 minutes.
Right.
Because within that other barrier, the match should always be close in play.
Right.
And they just found one of the only ways that you could have that happen, which is getting blitzed and not protecting your player.
I just want it on record because a lot of the viewers and a lot of people on Twitter or social media were saying that Timmy is colluding and is trying to get Sono to lose, and they're trying to tie you to me because I'm not a Sono fan and I think Sono's going to lose. So I want you to stay on the record that I did not tell you to root for Lake Erie and to cheer for Lake Erie and make sure everything.
I guess if anything, I would want Sono to win because I want to see BG wear the fin, so we can quell all those doubts. I think I was definitely, you got to see BG suffer here a little bit. So
okay,
I just want to see a great match, and my advice was not taken anyway, and they suffered the consequences.
Yeah. So that was again 41-25. It was just out of hand after the Marina shift. So
yeah.
So second period 1-1, but at that point the division had been captured, the 1 seed had been captured. But anyway, period 3. It's one of those things, and we talked about it before. Like, I was shocked because we both said this. We didn't have enough time to watch, so I actually just watched this literally this morning, the whole match. And I saw the results. I knew the results going in 3-1. I thought Sono blew him out of the water in the third period. No. But that's quite literally the opposite of what happened, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it was really it was the Beacons to win, and they had the lead for the majority of the period as well. Like, and I have here like the main takeaways are that Amina El-Riani at the jump put in a really solid shift against Salma Haney to keep the lead against the strongest player for the other team, to keep the lead small.
Right.
And then you get on there and Tori put the gas on the power play, and so they built a lead. But then Holly Naughton, after defending a power play, calls a power play, which is, I think, a mistake.
Yeah.
But it ended up working out where, so normally if you defend a power play, you're so fatigued and you don't have the juice to go on the offense.
Right.
But Holly just spun around and put up like an all-time performance. So I think they were down 21-12.
21-12, yep.
And then she started the power play down in 21-14, finished the power play 22-21.
Yep.
So she was a +8 there, I believe, which is insane.
Yeah.
After being fatigued. So then that completely switched the entire momentum of the match. After that power play, she's tired and subs off for Beecroft.
Right.
And then Beecroft starts holding the lead. And she held it against Stefanoni, I believe, with another strong shift. So that matchup was really strong for them.
And that was where, the 8 points for Naughton on that power play, close to record.
All-time level power play. Yeah.
And then Stefanoni and Beecroft, again, they got out there, and Beecroft was just handing to Stefanoni.
Outplaying her.
Which was, I should have checked and see if they've played it on the PSA anytime recently, but I would imagine.
I think they've played before, and it was a tight 3-2.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I think their styles, but their styles are going to match up that way. Yeah. Right.
And so where it all gets interesting is 41. This is sort of the major key point. So 41-35. Sorry. Beecroft
subs back in.
No, Stefanoni subs on and calls the power play immediately. Lucy did look a little cooked, but then halfway through the power play, this hasn't happened, I don't think, in NSL history, where I think both teams were technically out of subs, and Lucy twists an ankle. At first, I think everyone thought it was an Achilles. You thought it was an Achilles at first.
Because she grabbed right for Achilles.
I know.
I talked to her afterward as well. So
is she okay?
She's fine.
Okay.
The backstory as well is that the sweat doesn't evaporate that well. Like I came on a shift once after Yannick, and I'm like, there's water everywhere.
Oh, really?
But Beecroft, I think, just slid on a sweat drop.
Yeah.
She didn't turn her ankle. She basically went forward.
Yeah, fell out from under her.
Because her foot went too far forward, she jammed the heel into the Achilles. So in the moment, she kind of has a stinger and can't really walk.
Right.
So she has to get off court.
Yeah.
And she's screwed. They're out of substitutions. I think the only other time we really saw someone have to get off court was when Dougie last year in Chicago got hit in the eye or something.
Last year or 2 years ago in Chicago.
It was away.
Last year with the Lightning.
It was. Must
have been the first year.
It was away. So it was away at Chicago. It might have been the first year where he got hit in the eye, and he has to sub off. And we're like, what do we do here?
Yeah.
But the whole building went silent because at the time they were still 3 points up. I believe they
were up 3 points.
41-38 with clock winding down. There's not much clock left, like 3 minutes.
Right.
And
4.5 minutes.
And everyone's like thinking the worst has just happened. And I'm like, oh my God, And then this is actually really funny. The DJ sensing the
awkwardness
dip puts on like Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh my God. I didn't hear that on the stream.
The whole crowd is like, what is happening here? But luckily Lucy's okay. And I think she's going to need a couple of days, and she got it worked on right away. And it just kind of bruised it up, I think. But unfortunately for the Beacons, Holly now has to come back on when she's just put in a massive shift with 2 power plays on it, a defense and an attack. And she's got a hold against Marina, who was dead fresh for 2.5 minutes. And she just let it slip away. And that to me is just so unfortunate for the Beacons to lose at home there. But I really can't blame Holly and Lucy. And I think Holly really put on a performance. We were saying on the stream that she's earning a new nickname, which is the Queen of the North.
I saw that.
Someone was in the chat.
Some commentary. Kevin, shout out that guy, Queen of the North.
Shout out the chat. But I think that she really did play her way into that nickname because she was good on defense, on attack. She put in a long shift up to 11, 12 minutes against the best player in the other team. She really was a jack of all trades in the match.
Oh.
But just at the end, she's just out of gas.
Yeah, I say this to everyone. I always have to repeat it. 8 minutes in the NSL is far different than 8 minutes in the PSA. And Holly having to step. Literally in that third period, she was a part of all 4 power plays. Yes, she had 8 and then 4 for her, and then she had 5 against her and 4 again. Well, it was a little awkward because. I wrote this in the stat. It was halfway through the power play.
Yeah, it was like 40 seconds left.
So then she had to step in. So it was
she got another one. Yeah, it's brutal.
But anyway, after the power play, it was a 41-39 lead for Lake Erie. It was close, 41-all with 3 minutes, 42-all with 2 minutes, and then Holly just made some critical errors. Just tough.
But you got to tip the hat. You can't really blame her going on for a shift that she probably wasn't supposed to be there for.
Yeah, she probably mentally, again, you would know this. I would know this too as an NSL player myself. Sometimes when you get subbed off, you let go a little bit and just wait.
If it was the last shift of the match, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you're going to start watching all the points now, and you're like going to be like, I'm just a fan.
Right.
And so brutal to switch back, but just unlucky. But you got to tip your hat to Sono though for being rock solid. Credit to Marina for finishing it off.
Yeah.
And they are, I think, one of the contenders for the finals. So at home. Going to be interesting.
It was fun, but I will say, it's one of those matches where on paper, pretty much every player on Sono was far better than every player on Lake Erie, and Lake Erie pretty much should have had that. So I'm more confident than ever in my Shark Fins bet that, Classic Sono, they'll be undefeated. They're the only remaining undefeated team in the regular season. So you're a Fins guy now. God. Sono, the only, the last undefeated regular season team. There's one other.
For what? Oh, for
other regular season undefeated team.
All time?
All time.
Oh, the Sonos never lost regular season?
Never lost in regular season.
Well, we don't mention the other team's name on this podcast.
Okay, just making sure it's out there.
They have enough signage on the general premises.
But Sono is 0-1, and they're likely going against the New York Queens. Hoping Coach Noran Gohar is there. I have all the confidence in her, Feiruz Abdelkir, who has a lot to prove.
I'm wondering who they're going to take for that roster because I think it was Nardine Garas.
Nor Heikel.
And their regular season matchup was absolutely lights out.
And Nor Heikel.
Nor Heikel as well?
Yes, dude, like that to you, it's an all-Egypt team.
And they also have Tesney. They've got Tesney Murphy on the bench
who's
there.
Fresh.
They could call her up and she can whack Knicks.
Yeah.
So I don't know what combination. They're going to have some serious coaching decisions to make.
And that's a good problem to have.
And they've got one of the best coaches to make those decisions. So that's a team to look out for.
Yep. So final score 3-1. Sono, congratulations. You can take your regular season crown, but we all know the only thing that matters is rings at the end.
True.
All right. Now on to your match, Timmy. Final score was 3-1 to Newport Dragons. You know, they made it out alive. You're very lucky. There were lots of playoff scenarios here, and it did look like there was a small potential for Lake Erie to get in, but you guys kind of kiboshed that pretty quickly in the third. But before we dive into it, Timmy, I have one note here. People need to get to know you a little better.
All right.
You are one of the few players above 18 that wears goggles.
Yep.
In the PSA. What is the reason?
Well, I mean, there's a few reasons, honestly. But I think the main reason is that, like, on tour, I've lost a few matches where I've been hit right in the eye.
Really?
Yeah. One of them, the most memorable one, was against Chris Gordon.
Okay.
Where I'd never beaten Chris Gordon at the time. And I was 2-love up in $20K in Houston, and it was going to be a huge match for me at the time.
Yeah.
Maybe I was like 100 or 80 in the world.
Yeah.
And it was a big match. I'm 2-love up. And it was accidental, but he clipped me right in the eye, like right above the eye. And you bleed so much from the area that I had to get like taped along the head.
And, are you serious?
Yeah, it was like they stopped the match.
They didn't have anybody to like stitch it up quickly?
It's the 20K in Houston back before Houston was as established as it was now. It was basically like there was someone in the crowd who was like, I can tape you up, because they were a doctor.
Oh my God.
And I lose the match, right? And that stuck with me so much.
Yeah.
And you go all the way out there, you work so hard, and you lose matches like that. I lost 2 matches on tour like that. And
that was it.
Now, and for me as well, just stylistically, people like to take advantage of me by playing a bit mean sometimes.
Right.
So when guys are backing you up with the rackets, now with glasses on, I can just stand there and say, what are you going to do? You know? Whereas a lot of times you see guys who are aggressive really try to have these big swings. They swing like you're not there.
Right.
Which to me is one of my least favorite things about the PSA. Right. So that's why good thing we're talking about the NSL. But it really bothers me. And so having the eye guards on is just one more thing that allows me to play squash the right way.
Do they ever get foggy?
Believe it or not, they mine actually don't. They might get some sweat on them if I'm really sweaty, if my hair's a bit longer.
Yeah. So
I change my headbands, but I wear the Rise right now, so shout out to Chris Hansen. Honestly, Chris Hansen, if you're watching this, I've been hitting him up for a sponsorship. He's been ghosting me. Hansen, hit me up. But I use them because
former Team USA member.
Yeah, they're the best I can find. So I only have one pair, so Chris, I'm looking for another pair.
Oh my God, yeah.
But they don't fog. They just get some sweat.
It's brilliant.
So sometimes if you see the players like cleaning them a bunch, they might just have a worse eye guard.
Right.
But
I feel like I never see you, but like,
I don't clean them.
Experience.
I'd also just take them off in between points and just wave them around a little bit, and they're fine. And it really helps with like just confidence. And also, I will say this in case people are listening. Eye guards are like a seatbelt where you don't need it until you really freaking need it.
Yeah.
So I hate to say it, but someone is going to be the first person to like lose their vision on tour.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And it hasn't happened. We've been lucky.
It shocks me. And I thought about that while watching. That's why I wrote it down. I'm like, it is crazy.
We're lucky. I know so many people like Alan Klein, Campbell Grayson. They've been hit right here, you know, and it's like a half an inch, and their whole life is different. Your vision is so important,
right?
And it does. Like, I'm not going to go out and be like, oh, you got to wear eye guards. But you make a smart decision. It's not going to matter most of the time, especially if you're an experienced player.
Yeah.
But that one time it matters.
Right.
Like I've been hit, like even in training, like last year, I think Alina Bushma accidentally hit me square in the middle of the eye guards where I didn't move out in time. Like if I didn't have them on, it would have hit me right in the actual eye.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it's been multiple times where they've really helped me.
Wow.
So there's no wood, but knock on wood.
Well, all the parents got to be happy that we're talking about this right now, because you got the US #1 here saying goggles, safety first.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that people that no one does it. And also it's like, if they're really worried about performance, like Muhammad Zakaria is chopping everyone with goggles on. So who are you to say that they affect your performance? Get better at squash.
I keep wondering if that's why I said over 18, because Bo Zakaria and Orphy wear goggles, but that's because they are
world champ. World champ is wearing goggles. What are we talking about, folks?
Yeah, that's true.
Hit the books. Asal was wearing the eye mask. It's like
I remember. I saw that earlier because Mark Brokeman would famously say how he got a game off Asal, and it's Asal wearing the.
He's got to wear the eye mask.
I'm like, oh my God, it's insane.
I just think that it won't. It probably honestly is not going to happen at a population level, but it should. It should. Yeah. It's just like seatbelts, and unfortunately, it's going to be someone's going to get really injured, and then we're going to see a change.
Yeah.
But until then, they're speeding.
And they started doing it in hockey, right? Hockey used to be no face wear, and then I feel like it became really popular. I say in the last 15.
That is the perfect analogy, BG, because this is a $1 billion sport with some of the most valuable athletes in the world, and they used to wear no helmets.
Yep.
Then they wore helmets with no face guards.
Yeah.
All of them are getting hit in the teeth, in the eye. It's terribly dangerous, and now all of them are wearing visors at the very minimum. Yeah. And it's like, why can't we just do that? What are we talking about here? We've just been lucky that nothing's happened to anyone.
Right.
Anyway, wait, I don't want to go on about this, but
that's good.
It's an important thing, and it's one of those things that seems so obvious, but we're not doing it in the sport.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's clip that. Let's send it out.
Let's
tag everybody.
Clip it.
Okay. So now that we got through that, I'm glad I asked the question. Back to your match. Final score 3-1. Let's go into the first period, and I have actually some great. So first, let's get into this. Corkscrew serve early in the first period. Are you trying to send a message? What are you doing?
So honestly, this is something about starting in the NSL, especially the men's side with a hot ball and the court conditions, where for the first 5 minutes or so, sometimes there's really just nothing to be done.
Yeah.
Like the ball's so fast, and I was playing David, who's just going to get everything, and he's smashing the ball, that I like to create. And there's no creation to be done. I'm just going to get chopped if I boast or anything like that. So my only goal is to really move him side to side and get him a little tired for Knudsen to come on and power play him.
Correct.
That's my job.
Tell me more about your strategy and what you guys talk about, please.
Well, so just going into this shift, basically, like I was just feeling really stiff, and I was like, I'm moving him side to side, but I wasn't really feeling the court because the ball was so fast.
Yeah.
Like if it was a PSA match, it might have been like 2-2 or 1-1 after 5 minutes.
Right.
Whereas in NSL, you want to score points, but I couldn't really score points. Yeah. So I was just trying to do something weird to kind of try to get the play open, and it did work. Like, I think I ended up like one or 2 points up, but that's something where he couldn't really hurt me even if I corkscrewed it because the ball's so hot at that point that I'm just going to get everything as well.
Right.
So like it was really just having some fun when I know I can't be hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to get some juice out of his legs, and it worked.
And you guys 6-6 and then you did exactly as you said. You tire him out, call the power play. Now I do want to say, originally when I was watching this, I was ready to jump on Newport and jump on the league and say there's controversy and say that there's some shenanigans going towards Newport's favor, because if you watch the highlights at 6-6, Knudsen jumps on, he gets 1 more point for nothing. It's midpoint, and he gets a point, goes to 7-6.
Oh, because we were here. We can look back. I was 7-6 up, and they just didn't. Yeah. They,
really?
They had the scoreboard. So I left 1 point up.
Oh, so damn it. Okay.
Got to do your homework, BG. Come on now.
And there was a bad call by the ref where they said it was out of bounds.
There was a bad call there. I do agree with that. Okay, there were some bad referee calls. Shout out to Ray. He did a great job, but he screwed us in a couple of bounces.
Well, he screwed you guys up a little later. So
I left that shift 7-6 up, and I think the score must have been late.
Yeah. Okay, that makes way more sense.
Otherwise, I would have stayed on and get 1 more point. I can't sub off neutral. Otherwise, you're going to chirp me.
like me. So then Matthias had a great power play, and I would say my moment of the period was Matthias' shift. Good power play, 5-3, and he held it, and he had a +6 on the period overall. You guys won by 2 points. So shout out Matthias.
Do we burn a timeout as well after that power play? I think we might have.
You had a timeout, yeah, and that was pretty much your strategy the entire time. I think you did it another time. Oh no.
Usually after Lake
Erie. After Lake Erie called the power play, you called the timeout because Matthias also had to defend a power play.
Yeah, usually it's a good idea if your player's going to stay on after a power play. They're going to be juiced out, after they've used one.
And you did that later.
So you don't want them to be exposed.
Right.
And so Knudsen as well is pretty good at signaling to us when he needs a breather.
Right.
And so again, a perfect example of using timeouts because they're there for you to use.
Correct.
Don't let them go to waste. So it might have saved us that first period because it ended up coming down to the wire.
Correct. And after the timeout, you guys subbed on Yaya, and Yaya took it home. But it was a little awkward.
We got to talk about that shift. He was +10. He was +10, and then it ended up at sudden death.
Yeah, almost sudden death. Yeah, 22-21, and I was going to mention it, but shout out to Yannick because he did really well on that shift alone. He was +4, which I actually thought it was a little higher. But you must have been sweating a little bit.
Well, we were sweating, but just a little backstory here. I think just for the fans, because now it's all good. Yahya, I think he wanted to have power plays,
right?
Because he's got great skills as well. But unfortunately, Knudsen's our power play guy. He's the best in the league, I'd say, at power play. Besides maybe someone that's on a team that shall not be named. Mm-hmm. But I think as played, he really wanted to show that he's got more skill.
Yeah.
Because in the Greenwich match, he was only used as a defender.
Right.
And I think he was kind of.
But that was still a pretty special defender.
It was an amazing performance. But unfortunately, the league, let's say for the Man of the Match awards, is never going to reward the defensive player.
Right.
So I think he was just feeling like he wanted to show off some skills. And it led to some errors that would never have happened from him normally when we were +10 there. So it let it get way closer than it would have been. Right. But luckily he closed it out.
So are you saying there's tension in the locker room in Newport?
There definitely was tension before the match. I would say.
Timmy, you're making my job too easy, man.
No, but it ended up being all good because he's a beast and all is well when we got on court.
Yeah.
But I think certainly he wanted to show off his skills, and he did.
Yeah.
So, let him cook. He's the engine for a reason.
Well, and we'll get to at the end, because I think he did get a 26 diamond shout out that I think should have gone to Matthias. So you never know who gets recognized. But anyway, to the second period. So you guys win the first period 23-21. I actually love this. The second period was 23-21 the other way. It was a mirror
crazy
score.
showing at the end of the period from David. I think that's basically the only relevant part of that period, I think, is the final. We can talk about other parts, but the final shift, I think, from Baillargeon was ridiculous versus Knudsen.
Yeah, I mean, Lake Erie was ahead 17-11. Newport you guys called the power play, and he scores 7 points. And I will give Matthias some credit. The way he goes about his power play, the way he goes about his business, he gets so many more points.
What separates him is his serving. So we see this from everyone else. It's like they might hustle to the ball,
right,
and then they kind of scurry to the box, but they might even like bounce the ball or something, and then they serve slow.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you're not winning on the serve. Why would you serve slow and waste 2 seconds? So Knudsen is separating himself from the league by getting those serves off quick and just starting the point.
1 foot in the box. He doesn't care. He doesn't wait for the decisions.
If we just saw how many points were played per power play, Knudsen's playing like 1.5x as many points.
Yeah, I think that is being tracked somewhere.
It might be tracked somewhere. So, but I think it's something that most teams should take better advantage of. Because I see a lot of skill players. They get to the box and then they serve slow, and they're not playing as many rallies.
Yeah, and Ben Smith, I think, ran into that issue a little bit.
He served too slow.
He was serving far too slow, and we'll get to he was unfortunate. I think the reason why he obviously power play specialist, he did great in his first match. This match
they needed him. They needed him,
and it didn't work out so well this time.
He had one good one. I think the rest were a bit off. Yeah.
But so you guys did call the timeout after 19-18. I think there was like 5 minutes left, and unfortunately, like you said, David did really well. Played some key points and took it 23-21.
Because Knudsen was +1, I believe. So we were 19-18.
Yeah, correct.
So that for David to come back after defending, being tired, and kind of alphaing his way through there, because like he wasn't really like playing the skill game there.
No.
He was just pressing and pressing, and he hit a few, like he went for a few cross nicks, but just really gutsy performance from him, and that's kind of his style. He's notorious for it, and we knew he'd be a problem going into the match. So tip your hat to David there for playing so tough and holding off who I think was probably our best player on the day, and stuffing us to go 1-1, and it really made it a playoff sweat, because we knew that we don't want to lose. If you lose, it becomes really dicey.
Right.
And so being 1-1, we knew that it was all to play for. That's pretty risky.
And it was interesting because, again, the point differential, like I said, it was even. And Lake Erie, I forget what the number was that they needed, but it was, I want to say it was.
It wasn't ridiculous.
It wasn't ridiculous.
No, it was like 8.
I think it was 9 or 10 in the third period where things could get out of hand, and you guys ended up winning. We'll go to the third period. You guys won 35-21. If that result had flipped, I don't think you guys make the playoffs.
We'd be out. What a waste that would be.
which is wild. But so here's another important question. This kind of goes back to another period. I've said this on the podcast before. Everyone knows there was 2 best points last year in the NSL. One of them was Nathan Lake against Mo El Shabaghi against the Newport Dragons in the playoffs. No big deal. Very big point. But the other one, the best shot of the NSL last year, was your Whirlybird. Do you remember who the Whirlybird was? This is when you were in Nashville. Who was it against?
R.I.P. Ben Smith.
R.I.P. Ben Smith. And I thought his NSL career was cooked. He had a phenomenal revival against Greenwich. You hit the Whirlybird against Ben Smith 2 or 3 times in this match, and one to start the third period. Or are you trying to send a message to him? Are you trying to let him know?
I honestly think that they were all winners, so it was fine. Like a couple of them were on. It actually worked decently on defense.
Yeah.
So like when he was power playing me, it seemed like
I don't think you did it. You might have done it in the power play though.
I did it during power play.
Oh my god.
Where he was power playing me.
Yeah.
And he hit it in the middle of the court where I'm in the front, and I felt like he was kind of on both sides of me.
Yeah.
So if I went straight or cross, I felt like he was there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna whack it up in the air, and it has hang time.
Yeah.
So it kills like more time than a lob would.
Yeah.
And I hit it nicely. So then he has to go and catch the ball and serve again. And I'm like, oh, lovely.
Yeah. It was so funny to watch.
But it was just kind of on, and I hit one against Yannick as well, which was like clean.
Yeah.
But it sometimes when I'm in the front of the court and I feel like the player is a taller player,
right,
and they're aggressive, and it feels like they're on both sides of me.
Yeah.
Which is why I did it against Marwan at the TOC.
Yeah.
He's got great reach, and I'm like, I don't like hitting it to either side.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna put it up in the air.
You just like throw. I mean, you're the only person I know on tour that hits it pretty much frequently. Like it's in your toolbox.
Because no one else is really doing that kind of wrist swing besides maybe Muhammad or someone. Yeah. Maybe Gawad could do it as well, where we just have that swing if we want.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can play the cut swing as well, but most players don't snap the flat swing if they want.
Matthias could if he wanted to.
He doesn't have enough wrist. He's more of an army swing on the forehand.
Right.
You need it. It's kind of like it's a flaw.
Right.
But you need this ability to use the flaw.
Right.
Whereas like I love the Shabaghi quote where he's like, it's just another tool in your toolbox.
Yeah.
Because he's able to hit it standard.
Yeah.
But he can also hit it with the bad grip.
Right.
You know.
But anyway, again, as you said, you had a power play called against you and had 2 points. Kudos to you. Very tough against Ben Smith. And then as the match went on, I mean, my key moment of this shift, we talked about Yaya a little bit. Yaya struggled in the first period, struggled in the second period. In the third period, again, this was where it was actually interesting.
He came to life.
Lake Erie was up 7-6, and then he just dominated.
He cooked Yannick. Which Yannick's like their strongest player, hard to win points against. So you'd think that he wouldn't be able to rack up points, and he did.
And at that point, Yannick was +7 on the match. Yeah. It was really hot. And then Yannick was a -14 in the third period.
Yeah, it's crazy.
With a -7 there against Yaya. So not enough can be said, I guess, about Yaya. And he did get technically he's in the running actually against Yannick for the 26 Diamonds player of the week.
Hard to say who should win that. Yannick played very well over the match, but as the winning team, maybe it's more likely he should get it.
Matthias was a +15.
Yeah.
And to be honest, this is another thing. A lot of the 26 Diamond players of the week, it's more often than not been the losing player. Yeah. Melissa Alves against DC.
For just a Hercules performance.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not discrediting the people, but it's very interesting. I feel like this is the only league where you see
go out and vote for Lucy Beecroft if the poll is still live, by the way, guys. Come on now.
Lucy Beecroft was insane. And again, but Yaya, it was in it over Matthias, which I thought Matthias was a +15 overall. Obviously his power play, he was
he gets 4 power plays.
+16.
So. Yeah.
Right. So, but it's very interesting. So if you take out his power play points, and if you guys were all actually pretty even. It's actually kind of wild.
Well, that's the thing. So, like, if Knudsen's a -1 without power play,
right?
I was a -1 with, I think, how many did I defend?
You had 3. You had 2. You defended 2 with 7 points total.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway,
it's fascinating how it all works out, which is why I love like how different each match is.
Right.
And it's such a team sport, and just the way our roster's constructed.
Right.
If it's going a certain way, Knudsen has to be that guy that has 4 power plays. You can't go any other way.
Yeah.
And it makes it so we're hard to play against.
You guys are constructed well.
Yeah.
I will give Pat Kosker and ownership at Newport credit. You did what you said you do. You went undefeated, which still shocked by. So final score 35-21, 3-1. The big like I said, difference in this match was Ben Smith, who averaged, I think he had 15 or 16 points in the power plays. He went 5-2-2. He had 3 power plays for 2 points. You just can't do that in the NSL.
He needed more. And there, he was unlucky a few times, but just the way things were going, like he just wasn't on his mettle the way he was in Greenwich.
Right.
He didn't have that X factor.
Right.
There was one power play against me where he went crazy and he hit like 4 rollers.
Right.
But other than that, like the other ones were just he couldn't get his timing right. He was letting a lot of balls go and having to pick it up.
A lot of tins.
Burning time, tins, floaty balls.
Yeah.
Whereas in Greenwich, at least when he would tin, it had some zip.
Right.
Whereas with the floaty shot to the front, allows the other player to get like 3 or 4 seconds.
Right.
Because they're going to get it and defend.
Yeah.
So like that's probably the difference in the match.
Right.
But like that's the way the ball goes. If you're relying on the power play guy, it is high variance.
Right. So again, Lake Erie, they went from finals last year to not making the playoffs this year. It's hard to repeat. It's hard to get back to the playoffs. Not everyone can do it. Certain teams can.
They're the Pacers.
They kind of were like the Pacers of this year.
Victor Crouin? Is Bernard Jaume? Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah, exactly. Bernard Jaume. Yeah, I don't think they had Bernard play a match this year. They didn't have Victor play a match, and they were like the steady Eddie. I think it's actually credit to you guys. Similar, you guys had the same 3 play both matches this year. I think there's a lot of value in that.
100%.
And obviously, are you willing to commit now? Are all 3 of you going to be at the playoffs?
All of us are going to be there. Yeah. So that's why we draft the team that way. It matters, And also, I just love that the more that people play the matches, the more they enjoy and buy into the league.
Right.
And that's just a great sign. And I think that even Yahya, who's now cracking maybe the top 16 soon.
Yeah.
He's like, I love this stuff. I'm in, and that's what a cool thing.
No,
to have a guy like that buy in and be
and
keen.
Salma Haney, as we talked about.
It's so cool. We used to never think that those players would even play this league. And now for them to be bought in and carrying their teams and being keen to show up, it's like the coolest thing ever to watch as an outsider. Right. Obviously, I'm on the inside. but as a fan, it's kind of almost cool to be like, wow.
Totally.
They're into it.
So you guys wrap up the season undefeated. You're the NSL North champs.
Yep.
Respectable +22. You will be the number 2 seed behind the Philadelphia Lightning. You will be going against the NSL East, West. It always makes NSL South champs.
Yeah, the divisions. We're going against the Central.
Chicago Grizz Central.
The NSL
Chicago
Central
Grizzlies.
is Grizzlies, Crushers, Colts. Grizzlies rolled everyone there. So
yeah. So let's get we're gonna do a proper preview as we discussed later. But why don't you just give us? We're gonna do men and women quickly. Where do you see it falling against Chicago?
Yeah.
And then where do you see Philly and Greenwich going?
All right, we can do some sneak peeks here. So I think we're gonna match up with Chicago.
Yeah.
I think that the rosters, if I'm gonna conjecture, I think it's going to be Gawad, Todd, and Herbert.
Okay.
And we're going to be full lineup. I think that bodes decently for us because they're going to be very high variance.
Okay.
All of those players are shot makers and are capable. Their floor is very low. Their ceiling is very high.
Sure.
Whereas I think that we are so much more steady with a higher upside that if you were to play this match many times, we're going to win more often.
Yeah.
And I think that they also have bigger holes than we do. so that if any of them does have a bad day,
right,
we can attack them.
True.
Like if Herbert's really having a bad day, he's going to be a big hole. Or even Sam Todd. Whereas all of us, our styles, like if we have a bad day, we can still defend.
Yep.
Like Knutson, if he's our most attacking player,
yeah,
you think he'd be the guy you attack, he can defend and he can suffer.
Right.
The same way, like if I'm our slowest player, I can get a lot of balls back and I can defend. Yeah. So like we don't have big holes, whereas they do have big holes. The issue is that they have a really high upside. That if all of them play well, Sam Todd, you know, I got to put some respect in him. He could be the best power play player in the league.
Interesting.
Even though he hasn't had the chance to really show it.
Yeah.
I've seen him on the power play, like at the draft last year.
Right.
And the guy can just do crazy things with the racket.
Yeah.
And so I am worried if they have that upside, we would also have to play well to win. And Gawad is just a wild card. You have no idea. Like, I don't know. You know, I don't think he was that strong in their home match when he was up against Sturdy and things. I think Sturdy was outplaying him.
Yeah.
Where it came down to the wire.
He did win the final point, though.
He did win when it counts, and he does win when it counts.
Yeah.
So, long story short, it's up in the air, but I think that we are a favorite. I would go ahead and say that. And you could clip this if we lose. But I think that if you play it many times, I think we're more likely to win.
I've said this many times. The only reason why I give the Newport Dragons a smidge of credibility is Coach Pat Kosker.
The coach.
I think he's very good, and he puts you guys in position to succeed. It's not you guys at all.
I just like that Pat rolls with the punches, and most other coaches don't.
Yeah.
Most other coaches, they might panic when things start to go wrong, whereas Pat, one of the best things about our team is that we're almost never sitting down. We're always talking about what's going on.
Right.
And it's not like it's super stiff, like, I got to do this.
I can see that in the timeouts. You guys were like,
we're always just talking about, hey, what about this? It's if this, then that.
Right.
If this, then that. And so we're going through the scenarios, like, what if we are down 5 here? What if we are up 5? And because everyone's kind of on the same page, we're able to adapt to which way the game tree takes us.
Right.
Whereas most of the teams are just not in that same zip code. Correct. They're basically like playing a reaction game.
Yeah.
Whereas we're already ready for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I think that gives us an advantage. And shout out to Coach Pat for being so involved in it. It makes a difference. Coaching is so important.
Yep.
We saw 0 timeouts in the Sono Beacons match. Just think about how outrageous that is, BG.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, timeouts are a useful tool. I think the Philadelphia Lightning used 1 timeout all season. That's
you guys didn't need it. You know, you're leading so much. But
we didn't need
Coach Kathleen is gonna have to hit the drawing board here in the playoffs. If we get you to wear the fin, you know, we gotta get them to do well.
We'll see if Kathleen listens to this.
We got to talk about the other men's match though, Philly Greenwich.
Yep.
It really is roster dependent if the Saul is going to make it after the British Open. I would love to see this match, and I really hope that like there's space for us to watch in the stands. I know it's probably going to be sold out, but like they got to let the players in there. I've got to get some player passes or something.
Yeah.
I got to be there courtside.
Come on, you're the coach.
I know we're going to get in there. I'm going to talk to the COO Ashby Howard.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll get us cooking, but I think that's going to be a ripper. I don't know if you have any thoughts about your team going into that matchup.
Yeah, like I said, it is. You know, if we have Abu Algar, great. If we don't, next man up.
You guys are deep.
That's the Philly mentality.
You guys are deep. Yeah. Who is next man up, do you think, if Abulgar is out?
So unfortunately, you know, make the announcement. Curtis Malik is out for us as well.
Wow, that hurts you guys.
That hurts. So
what's he got?
He's got some injury.
Something.
He's got something.
He's had the shoulder.
He's playing in the British. And Osama Benhi, again, shout out to both him and Marwan, just did wonders for Team England at European Championships.
Crazy performance.
Good on Curtis for bringing it home. So if that is the case, obviously we want Abu Elgar. If not, probably Nick Wall. We're still going to bring Salim Khan.
Yep.
So we'll see. But
you guys have a deep roster. That's the benefit of having a good draft, where BG had a great draft and it allows them to be versatile. Whereas a lot of the other owners might be naked on the bench.
But I think coaching does matter, and you know, going to our match, you know, we will be out without John White. That is it. But Noel Heaton has been there for every single match.
Is he gonna have an earpiece in? Why are you gonna be in there?
John's gonna be on a boat somewhere. So unfortunately,
Whitey out.
Actually, the only thing is Noel actually wasn't at our first match this year. I replaced Noel, and I've said this. My whoop heart rate got up to 158. It's pathetic. It's so embassing.
I deeply empathize with you right now. I'm the same way. I get so into it.
And so I think I might have to be the assistant coach again, and we'll see how I do. And
high stakes, BG.
Yeah. So anyway, I agree. It is roster dependent. It's coach dependent. So it's hard to make a claim right now. But do you think you will beat either team on the other side no matter what?
Well, if we make that's a huge if. I would say it really depends. Like there's so much that's going to go on, but I just like the way our roster's built, and I just honestly believe that I back us to play any team.
Okay.
And it might not age well, but I really think that I'm so happy with how our roster is shaped up. Yeah. And even if we had injuries and stuff, Finn Withington on the bench, Augusta Sword on the bench, we were so versatile, and what a job Newport has done as a franchise, pivoting after maybe a disappointing end last year.
Went out and got Matthias.
And went out and got Matthias. They maybe reached for me in the draft, and it worked out. So like it's been great for them, and the future is bright for Newport.
Yeah. All right. So we know your pick on the men's side. Let's quickly do the women's side. So
what are the matchups here?
So it's going to be DC versus Sono.
So that's horrible because, in my opinion, DC
teams.
is the juggernaut. I think if you look at this roster,
they have everybody: Sobi, Jazz, and Rowan.
Yeah, Sobi, Jazz, Ella Robbie,
and Rachel Arnold. I mean,
Rachel Arnold is a bench player if they want, and they have Marie Stefan as well, who's got a ton of experience. Right. Wow. And so, I mean, they could go a bunch of ways with their roster, but that's got to be the most star-studded roster in the NSL, probably top to bottom for those top 4.
We know Sono, great regular season team, can't show up in the playoffs. They're the James Harden of the NSL.
I wonder, do you think they'll bring Hannah Motaz? Because I know she's on the roster as well. No. She's a sniper.
Wait, for Sono.
Sono.
Sono I think is going to go. Yeah, I think it's going to be Salma,
Tori, and Marina?
No, Salma, Marina, and Hannah.
Hannah Motaz. Because Hannah Motaz, not to discredit Tori Malik, she's a sniper. Right. But Hannah Motaz, maybe on paper, is the same player type, but just more further down the rankings. Like she's a little bit ranked higher.
Right.
So they're going to get an upgrade.
Right.
And you got to believe that Salma Haney's going to be better rested this time around.
Right. You got to hope for that. I mean, again, shout out to Tori. Tori actually, we can't forget, beat Salma Haney earlier this year.
Did.
At I think it was the German, or was it the Australian?
Maybe New Zealand? When she went semis?
Yeah,
she went semis.
Yeah, I got it. And again, shout out to Tori. And obviously, I'm a big believer of Malik Squash.
Great performance.
Curtis. But I think you got to take Hannah. But if Tori's around, again, she was their power play specialist this weekend. And she did great. She did great. So it'd be very fun to watch them. But
wow, is that for the title then? Is that for the title?
No. Yeah, well, that's what people are saying about Philly Greenwich too. He's obviously it's a shame that you have it on the semis, but
oh god.
So I have DC over Sono there.
It's hard to pick. They're at home. Sono's at home.
Yeah.
Think about they're gonna have the shark mannequin there. They're gonna have it'll be packed for them.
Yeah.
Think of the people swinging the towels, the jerseys.
Well, it's all right. The sharks gonna go down, baby.
I think statistically, if you look this up, home court advantage in the NSL is super significant.
Yeah.
Teams.
I should look that up.
It's a huge edge. Yeah. Like in year 1, I think that there were no away wins besides Chicago lost.
Right.
That was and that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So I think it's overwhelmingly that the home team has a big edge.
Right.
Because we've seen how much momentum plays, how much having a loose hand plays, like the way that Holly and Lucy played away in Lake Erie.
Right.
They might not have played that way in a lot of other locations. So I think players are inspired and play better. So, but
it's tough this past weekend. Home teams went 0-2.
But they both played well. I feel they both played well. Like they were a huge underdog and they almost won.
That's a fact.
So I feel like Sono at home gets a boost, but they don't really have the only player that would really boost there. I think is Hannah.
Yeah.
Because she is shot making reliant, whereas Marina and Salma have higher floors.
Right.
So that's an interesting matchup. But on the other side, we've got New York and who?
New York and Seattle.
That's tough. Seattle's really strong because they're kind of a sleeper.
Yeah.
They've got Tina. They've got
Nada
Abbas. And Nada Abbas was not healthy for their first match and they lost. Mm-hmm. So I think that they're going to have a big boost.
I think I'm going to go with New York, and we're going to have a rematch, New York versus DC.
That's a grudge match as well if New York wins.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So New York could potentially be Fayrouz, Nardine Garas, and maybe Nor Haikal or Tesney Murphy.
Yeah.
Versus Tina, Nada, and a third.
I forget who their third is,
The third. Let me see who the third is for Seattle. Let me pull up this roster. Okay. The third for Seattle could be Mary Mitwali.
Probably.
Who she played well in the NSL. She's great on the power play. Could be Hannah Craig's
been playing some good squash. She qualified for Worlds.
Yes. So these are really good matchups, BG.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. Timmy, I know my squash. Okay, I don't know how you go about your business in the squash world. I know I'm right. I got 3 out of 4 teams right on the men's side, and I think I got 3 out of 4 teams right in the women's side
for the playoffs.
I
think I called all 4 though, so I think that
I just had Philadelphia Freedom winning the whole thing on the women's side. So that was my only mishap.
I think when I was a guest, did I call these four playoff teams?
I don't know. You called Atlanta.
No, but I think they couldn't win at the time. They were eliminated. So I said I wanted them to win.
You said Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
I was listening.
Well, morally, I stand by it. I still picked Atlanta, but they deserved it.
All right, so Timmy, as we wrap up here, you're going. Are you playing British Open?
I am playing British Open.
Who do you have first round?
El Surti.
Yes. Ooh, former teammate, right?
Former teammate. Yeah. All right. I will be wearing my eye guards.
Okay, good. Of course. Well, you guys, that will be very, very fun.
It'll be a good match. It'll be close.
And then you'll be back, and then NSL finals, and then off season.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. I'm looking forward to it. Kind of I love finishing with the NSL playoffs. That's why I was so bummed out we didn't make it last year.
Right.
It's just like what a cool time of year, and ending the season that way. It's just so fun.
Yeah. I think we know how we feel about team squash.
Yeah.
Super cool. So anyway, best of luck at the British Open. I will not say the same at the NSL finals, but I'd like to play you in the finals. It'd be fun. It would be nice to leave no questions. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure I did the season right. So
if we play, we might have NSL gate if CEO Joy gets involved.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Oh, the banter's already going.
There could be some I think there's chances. We'll see. I hope it happens, but Gawad could have other ideas. Sam talking of other ideas.
Simon Herbert, definitely.
Simon Herbert. We didn't even bring it up, but folks, Simon Herbert versus Matthias Knudsen, it goes deep. There's gonna be beef.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch. That'll be very fun to watch. Well, anyway, Timmy, thank you so much. And as always, everyone, please check us out on NSL YouTube or NSL Sport at YouTube and NSL Sport on Instagram, and stay tuned for the latest news. But until then, June 8th, we will do a deep dive into the playoff preview, and we will officially have rosters then. So until then, see you later.
We say we won't get on.